Hello and welcome to another quick short video on network performance management. And today we're going to look at how we can use the Allegro Multimeter and its vast granular data in conjunction with AI as kind of an assistant to help me along a troubleshooting process. So one of the unique things again about Allegro is the in-memory database and just the vast amount of packet level data that is actually captured in the Allegro system. So in this case, a user calls in and complains that the network is slow, and through a couple of quick questions you can resolve that, hey, they're talking about a file transfer that hit the NAS this morning that they had poor performance on. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the data set. So in this case, I'm going to come in and select the last 6 hours of traffic, and now I'm filtered into the last 6 hours today from 6:36 to 12:36, and now I'm locked into this data set. And the first step is I'm going to go into IP and IP statistics, and I'm going to search for that specific NAS or that user that had this performance problem. So I know the IP address here was 20.0.0.3. That's the IP of my NAS. And now what we can see here is we filtered the data set down to just this specific IP address. If I click the hyperlink here, it's going to drill me into just the stats for this specific server. And you can see here we had a couple of really big spikes. Right? These are probably, if I had to guess, the file transfers and questions. So what I'm going to do is just kind of sweep that time period. And then I'm going to go over here and say, hey, show me all of the connections that were established to this server during this time period. And now as I scroll down, you can see that we've sorted the data automatically by volume of traffic. So this first connection here was the top talker, if you will, where we had 12.5 gigabytes of data downloaded and 19.2 megabytes uploaded. And then as I scroll over here to the right, you can see a bunch of information about response time metrics that Allegro collects. So TCP handshake time, response time maximum, response time averages, along with information about the number of transactions. So in this case, there are 9,804. And then scrolling over to the right, you can see a bunch of TCP related metrics, right? The window size that was announced, what was the actual usage of the window size, what was the window scale set to, along with, hey, was there any TCP 0 windows during this time period, etc. So what I'm going to do here is drill in deeper to this by simply just clicking on this details tab. And now what this has done is it's taken me down another level so that I can just focus in on this file transfer. So I'm going to again sweep that time period to get a more granular view within my dashboard here. And as I scroll down, again, we're looking at the number of packets, the number of traffic bits per second, the retransmissions, all of the response times from the client to the server and the server to the client, as well as any duplicate acts. And you can see all of these other stats along here. So one of the things you might be asking is, well, what does this all mean? Right? How can I get more aided assistance to this? So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. So in the Microsoft Edge browser, I want to get the entire screenshot, just not what I can see on this one page. So what I'm going to do is hit Control-Shift-S, and it brings open a window, and from here I'm going to say capture the full page. And then now it's taken a screenshot of everything that I can see and everything that I can't see. And in this case, I'm just going to save this to this screenshot folder. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this JPEG of this screenshot and I'm going to pull that into ChatGPT. So now that I have the ChatGPT window over, I'm just going to drag and drop that onto the ChatGPT window, and then I'm going to hit the little upload arrow. So what it does, it takes that entire screenshot. You can see that's the entire page of this, and now it's going to give me a summary of what it sees. So you can see it's showing detailed information between .112 and .3 over this source and destination port pair. Note that it's SMB traffic, and then it gives me kind of a high-level information of what I should be paying attention to. So it's telling me that this .112 is the name of that is my laptop. The name of the server is MS Data. looking at the traffic rate. So we can see what the number of packets were, we can see the amount of traffic that was transferred and which direction it came from, along with the throughput or average throughput in this specific time. As I scroll down a little bit further, it's going to give me information that I should pay attention to from retransmissions. What directions were they in? How many duplicate acknowledgments we had? What the missed data was of this? The window usage size. And as I scroll down, it also gives me the ability to create additional graphs and charts, as well as observations from the graphs that I've uploaded to this. And one of the things I really want to focus on here is automatically it showed me what some of the key issues were. So I had high retransmissions, server side, 22.9% of the traffic was retransmission, and I had poor client response time on 4 seconds as average. So you can see some of the potential causes of this. So network latency, jitter, client side bottleneck. So looking at the laptop, disk I/O, CPU, etc. And then we can see that the connection was reset by the client, so it wasn't a graceful disconnect of this connection. And then it shows that we're only using about 50% of the available TCP window. So essentially the flow of this traffic for this file transfer is not fully utilizing all the bandwidth that's available to it. So we can see some possible reasons for this. Loss-driven throttling, right? So that packet analysis and essentially this loss-driven throttling. I could ask ChatGPT about this as well, but essentially what this is due to, again, is due to TCP's flow control and the packet loss. It's really keeping us from bursting and using that entire TCP window that's available to us. Now one of the things I'm going to do is just ask some questions about this. You can ask it, how does the retransmissions affect performance? So it shows me why I'm getting my reduced throughput on this and why I'm only using 51% of the advertised received window, etc. And it gives me kind of this guided view of trying to assist me with the troubleshooting of this. Now, one of the other things I'm going to add here is some more detail to this analysis. So if I come over here to the TCP flow chart, what this is going to give me is a graphical view, packet by packet, of response times as we're kind of going through this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the same thing that I did before in Microsoft Edge. Hit Control-Shift-S, and I'm going to capture the full page, and then I'm going to save this to another screenshot. So here I've got this additional screenshot, and what I'm going to do here is take that screenshot and drag this into my project that I'm analyzing it. So I'm adding more detail provided by Allegro to give me a more detailed look so that I can, without a doubt, troubleshoot this performance. So now it's coming in and it's showing me that we had in this connection an invalid SYN. It's also looking at how long that three-way handshake took to set up versus the response times in the entirety of the file transfer, right? So again, we can see some more of the same with the throughput limiting, and again, it accurately calculated that I am on a 1 gigabit per second link, which is 100%, and I'm only getting 483 megabits per second average. And then it goes in and tells me again things about the client itself. So 4.082 seconds, which again flagged as bad in the Allegro analyzer. That's telling me again some of the things that may have caused that slowness specifically on my laptop, as well as the congestion. The other beautiful thing is that in this Allegro system, we also have the ability down at the bottom here to export the entire table. So all, for example, 200,000 rows that may be in this table of every single connection that hit this server, I can simply click on this CSV download and pick and choose what metrics do I want in this CSV. Do I want the SYN response time? If this were an HTTP-based application, do I want the URLs? SSL, if this were a TLS connection? all of these metrics can be exported into a CSV, and that same CSV, as it's downloaded, then can be exported up to that same model to have a more holistic view of what's going on with this network traffic. That's it for today. Thank you. Catch you on the next one.